The void of space trembled as the Zephyrian fleet emerged from hyperspace, their crystalline ships gleaming like jewels against the star-scattered darkness. For 3 millennia, they had been the undisputed masters of this galactic sector, their technology so advanced that entire civilizations bowed before their might without resistance. Commander Vex Thul stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dominion, his 4 eyes scanning the tactical displays with practiced confidence. "Scans indicate a single vessel ahead," reported navigator Kyle Mora, her translucent fingers dancing across the bio-neural interface. "Unknown configuration. Primitive metal construction." Vex Thul's mandibles clicked in amusement. Another backward species to be catalogued and conquered. The Zephyrians had encountered thousands of such civilizations, most surrendered upon witnessing their superior technology, while the stubborn ones were swiftly eliminated. This encounter would be no different. "Magnify the target," he commanded. The main viewer shimmered, revealing a massive gray structure floating in the cosmic expanse. It was unlike anything in their extensive databases, angular, brutal in its simplicity, bristling with what appeared to be crude projectile weapons. Dark letters were emblazoned across its hull: UESTHU, EUND, ERST, RIKE. "Analysis?" Vex Thul inquired, his confidence unwavering. "Vessel length, approximately 2.1 kilometers. Primitive fusion reactors detected. No energy shields visible. No plasma weaponry signatures," the tactical officer, Zarketh, reported with barely concealed disdain. "Sir, this appears to be some sort of museum piece. Perhaps a derelict?" The Zephyrian commander's 4 eyes narrowed. In all their conquests, they had learned to speak the languages of lesser beings through their advanced translation matrices. It was a matter of protocol and psychological warfare to address defeated enemies in their own tongue. "Initiate linguistic analysis," Vex Thul ordered. "Prepare the standard surrender demand." The ship's quantum processors began their work, analyzing electromagnetic signatures, attempting to decode the alien vessel's communication protocols. Minutes passed, then hours. The analysis systems, capable of deciphering the most complex alien languages within moments, continued to process. "Status report," Vex Thul demanded, his certainty beginning to crack. "Sir," Kyle Mora's voice carried an unusual tremor, "the linguistic matrix. It's failing to establish coherent patterns. The language structure appears to be impossibly complex." Impossible. The Zephyrians had cracked languages of beings with 12-dimensional thought processes, species that communicated through quantum entanglement, and civilizations that spoke in pure mathematics. How could these primitive creatures pose such a challenge? "Continue analysis. Increase processing power," Vex Thul commanded, though doubt now gnawed at his certainty. Suddenly, the human battleship's communication array crackled to life. A harsh, mechanical voice echoed across space, speaking in what sounded like controlled chaos syllables that seemed to defy the very laws of linguistic evolution. "Unknown vessels. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Space Force. You have entered restricted space. State your intentions immediately or face the consequences." The bridge fell silent. The translation matrix flickered and died, overwhelmed by the alien complexity. For the first time in 3 millennia of conquest, the Zephyrians found themselves speechless, literally unable to comprehend or respond to another species. "How is this possible?" whispered Zarketh, his usual composure. Shattered. Vex Thul's mind raced. Their entire conquest protocol depended on communication, on the psychological impact of speaking to enemies in their own language before demonstrating superior firepower. But this was beyond their understanding. "Sir," Kyle Mora reported, her voice barely above a whisper, "I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the alien vessel. Something is powering up." The human battleship began to rotate, its weapon systems aligning with the Zephyrian fleet. What the aliens couldn't know was that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology, it was the chaotic beauty of human language itself. English, with its contradictions, exceptions, borrowed words from dozens of source languages, idioms that made no literal sense, and grammar rules that existed mainly to be broken. To beings who had spent millennia perfecting orderly, logical communication systems, human language was like trying to solve an equation where every number was simultaneously prime and composite, where 2 plus 2 could equal fish if the context was right. Admiral Chen's voice crackled again across the void. Your silence speaks volumes. Last warning, withdraw, or we'll show you why humans don't need fancy shields when we've got good old-fashioned spite and superior firepower. The Zephyrian translation systems sparked and smoked, trying desperately to process concepts like spite and idioms like speaks volumes in a context that made no logical sense to their orderly minds. Commander, Zarketh reported, his voice hollow with defeat. Our entire linguistic database is crashing. We cannot establish communication protocols. For the first time in their species' recorded history, the Zephyrians faced an enemy they could not speak to, could not understand, and therefore could not conquer according to their established methods. The realization struck Vexthal like a cosmic thunderbolt. They had encountered something truly alien, not just another species, but an entirely different way of thinking and communicating. The human battleship's weapons hummed with deadly intent, and Admiral Chen's final message echoed through space. Conversation over, boys. Time to dance. As the first human railgun round screamed across the void at significant fractions of light speed, Vexthal finally understood the terrifying truth. They hadn't just encountered humans. They had encountered the one species in the galaxy whose very language was a weapon chaotic, illogical, and utterly incomprehensible to minds that prized order above all else. The age of Zephyrian dominance was about to end, not with a whisper, but with a bang they couldn't even pronounce.